Welcome back to Living Higher. This week's topic is the Pesach Seder, the roadmap back to yourself, the roadmap back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Pesach Seder is one of the most auspicious times of the year. It's one of the most holy nights of the year. It's a night of transmission to our children, a night of celebrating redemption. You see even those Yidden that do not really keep too much else, very often they'll still make a Pesach Seder, and all the Sfarim bring down the Kedusha of the Seder, that it's an Eis Ratzon, it's a time to daven, and what we could accomplish the night of the Seder. There's also a recurring theme that I'd like to focus on today. In the new Rav Judah Michel Haggadah, beautiful Baderech Haggadah, I highly recommend it. He starts off, we start off with Kadesh, Orchatz, Karpas, Yachatz. These are called the Simanim. Why are they called the Simanim? So he brings down from the Sefer Arugas HaBoisim. He says that when a person loses something, in order for the object to be returned to its rightful owner, he has to give a siman. He has to provide a sign to prove that the object is his. He says, so to these simanim, in order for us to be found, in order for us to be returned to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're going to be found, we're going to be returned through these simanim. And this is the idea, this is the theme that I would like to focus on tonight. We're not going to go through every aspect of the Seder, otherwise we'll be here forever. But I'm going to cherry pick a few different ideas throughout the Seder that to illustrate this theme of being found, of being returned to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of returning to yourself. And if somebody, by their own Seder, as they're going through the Haggadah, if they keep this in mind, they'll see this theme coming out again and again and again. To start, I want to ask the question, why is Pesach, why do we call Pesach, Pesach? Why do we call it Chag Pesach if in the Torah calls Pesach Chag HaMatzos? Now we all know the answer that HaKadosh Baruch Hu passed over the Yidden's houses during Makat B'Choros. Any house that had blood on the door showing that it belonged to a Yid, HaKadosh Baruch Hu passed over that doorway and went to the non-Jew's house, went to the Mitzri's house. But the Ari HaKadosh, the Arizal says that there was another Pesach, another Passover that happened during that night, during the Geula of Mitzrayim. Says the Ari HaKadosh that normally, when a person is growing, when there's growth happening, it's incremental. A person grows incrementally. They go madrega to madrega, level by level, small incremental growth until they get to where they want to go. However, says the Ari HaKadosh, this is not what happened in Mitzrayim. In Galus Mitzrayim, the Yidden were on the 49th level of Tumah. They were Oved Avodah Zarah. They were at the bottom of the bottom. And what happened? Still Hashem took them out of Mitzrayim. And 7 days later, they're at Kriyas Yamsuf. The rules of nature are completely upended. And Chazal tell us that a shifcha, a maidservant by Kriyas Yamsuf, saw what the greatest of Nevi'im never were able to see. How does this happen? How do you go from 0 to 60, skipping so many levels from the bottom, 49th level of Tumah, all the way up to the highest level of prophecy in the span of a week? How does that happen? Says the Ari HaKadosh, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu skipped us over all those madrigas. HaKadosh Baruch Hu passed over all those middle madrigas, went from the bottom, and he jumped us straight to the top. That passing over that whole middle step that we got to skip, because of that, that's why we call it Chag Pesach and not Chag HaMatzos. It says, B'chol dar v'dar, Chayiv Adam liris etz atzma ki'iluhu asa Mitzrayim. Every single generation, a person has to see himself as if he's one of the people that left Mitzrayim. That doesn't just mean that we have to envision ourselves walking out of Mitzrayim with our sack on our back, going into freedom. But it means more than that. We have to be able to envision ourselves. We have to be able to envision ourselves that even if we're at a low point right now, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could jump us from our low point to where we want to go. That point that we all want to be, HaKadosh Baruch Hu could take us 0 to 60. We have to be able to envision that. Pesach is called, especially the Seder night, is called the Rosh Hashanah of Emunah, the Chag of Emunah. It's this Emunah, the Nesiv Shalom talks out how there's two different types of Emunah. There's Anochi Hashem, there's Emunah, there's believing in Hashem, but then there's Anochi Hashem Leikecha, that I am your God. Even when you are in a low, in a shuffle dikamatziv, even when you are in shiftless, at the lowest point of your life, still HaKadosh Baruch Hu is right there. And tonight, we have to realize, the night of the Seder, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could jump us up from that lowly point, pass over the whole middle to get us to where we want to go. But we have to believe that that's possible, and we have to desire that. We're going to start off the Seder with Kaddish. We're going to make Kiddush. And we're going to say in the Kiddush, Zeichli Yetzias Mitzrayim. And it's not just the Kiddush of Pesach that we say Zeichli Yetzias Mitzrayim, but every single Kiddush throughout the year, we're going to say Zeichli Yetzias Mitzrayim. Why do we say Zeichli Yetzias Mitzrayim when we make Kiddush? Rav Tzadok HaKohen in Pri Tzadik in Parshas V'Eschanan, he explains, he says, these are his words translated to English, he says, that a person shouldn't chas v'shalom despair because he knows the blemishes of his heart and say, I'm too low. I'm saying too low. But rather, a person should realize that just as when there was Yetzias Mitzrayim, just like when HaKadosh Baruch Hu took the Yidden out of Mitzrayim, the Yidden were at such a low point, they had sunk so deep, but still HaKadosh Baruch Hu took them up. So too, you have to look at yourself like that Hashem will lift you up from your lowest point if you desire it to be so. That's what we're saying, Zecher Liyetzias Mitzrayim by Kiddush. This is the Zecher Liyetzias Mitzrayim. The remembrance of the going out of Mitzrayim is what? Remembering how HaKadosh Baruch Hu could take us 0 to 60 from our low point to the highest heights, just like that. We then continue with Magid. We're going to start with Halach Ma'anya, This is the bread of affliction. This is the Lechem Oini that our forefathers ate in Mitzrayim. Anybody that needs should come and eat. Anybody that desires should come and partake in the Pesach. The question is, why are we making this declaration, this invitation, inviting people to come to our Suda, whoever needs to eat, whoever is hungry, whoever wants to partake in the Pesach? Why are we making this now when we already started the Seder? Wouldn't it make so much more sense to invite people when we're in shul? In shul, we should make a big announcement. Whoever needs a place for the Seder, come to me. I have extra seats at my table. Or at least when we're starting the Seder, before we make Kaddish, before we make Kiddush, say, whoever needs a place to eat, who never needs a place to sit down, come to our Seder. Why are we saying this now? When we're starting Magid, we're already in the middle of the Seder. Why is it now that we're first making this declaration, inviting people to eat? The Nesiv Shalom explains with Derek Jush, it's so beautiful. He explains, he says that the hunger that we're talking about, when we're saying Kol dich v'yesi v'yechel, Kol ditzach yesi v'yesech, whoever is hungry should come and eat. Loi rav la'lechem. We're not talking about a hunger for food. We're talking about a spiritual hunger. We're saying whoever has that spiritual hunger, whoever has that desire to be better than what they are right now, whoever desires to be on a higher level than they are right now, Kol ditzrich yesi v'yisach. Whoever needs the Pesach, whoever needs that passing over, that skipping over, whoever needs HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help them from the low point up to the high point, come and join. Now is the time. We're starting Magid. We're getting into the Zechira of Yetzias Mitzrayim, the mitzvah of Yetzias Mitzrayim. And the one that would say, even if we're Chacham Nevoinim, we still have a mitzvah to say over Zechira Yetzias Mitzrayim. But to remember and to realize that whoever needs could partake right now in the Seder, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could take them from the low point to the high points where they want to go. We then continue, Keneged Arba Banu Divrei Torah, the four sons. One of those four sons that we talk about is what's called the Rasha, the wicked son. And what does the Rasha say? The Rasha says, Ma avoida hazayis lachem. What is this avoida for you, that you guys are doing? And what do we say? We say, Lefisha Chaitzi B'menu Min HaKlal. Since he took himself out of the klal, he says, what is this for you guys? Not for me, for you guys. Since he took himself out of the klal, Kaifer Be'ikr. He is in denial. And what's the most important? He's denying HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's denying the foundation of Yadus. Kaifer Be'ikr. And what do we tell him? We tell him that this happened to us, but if you would have been there, you wouldn't have been redeemed. Why not? What's going on? Since he takes himself out of the klal, he's kaifer be'ikr. And if he would have been there, he wouldn't have gotten redeemed. So Ramosha of Kabrin, that was the Rebbe of the first Slonim Rebbe in Belarus. So he says a beautiful pshat. He says, who's this Russia that we're talking about? Who's this Russia? This Russia is somebody that he has a big Yetzer Hara. He has a tremendous Yetzer Hara, and he can't see himself getting out of the Yetzer Hara. So what does he say? He says, Ma avoida hazayis lachem. What is this avoida for you guys? You guys, you don't have the Yetzer Hara that I have. I can't do this. You guys could do it. I can't do it. But what do we tell him? that he's a kaifer be'ikr, lefisha chaytz mimenu min ha'klal, since he took himself out of Klal Yisrael, since he excluded himself, he's kaifer be'ikr. Why? Because again, what happened in Mitzrayim? We were all Ovdei Avodah Zarah, we were on the lowest level. But still, the Yidden had this emunah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there for them, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could take them out, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could bring them up. This guy, this Rasha, who's excluding himself, he thinks that because he has this Yetzer Hara, so now he doesn't have a shaykhis, now he doesn't have a connection, now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to help him out. That is kaifer be'ikr. And if he would have been Mitzrayim, and he wouldn't have believed that because he was on the 49th level of Tumah, he would have thought he was doomed, he would have thought he was gone, he wouldn't have been Zeicha to be redeemed. It's only the Yidden that had the emunah to realize that yes, we're Ovdei Avodah Zarah, yes, we're on the lowest level, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is still there. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will still take us out. We continue, V'hisha amdala v'seinu v'lanu. This is what stood up, this is what stood our forefathers up, and us as well. Even today, what's this V'hisha amdala v'seinu? What stood our forefathers up? It's in the Haggadas or Zerua. He brings down a beautiful, there's a famous vart from Reb Nachman called Aye. Reb Nachman says that if a person feels the darkness pressing in on him, if a person feels he has nowhere to turn, he feels that he's completely enveloped in the darkness, he feels that in complete concealment, he doesn't see a way out. A person has to say, Aye become kavaydai. Where is HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Not, where is HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How can you allow this to happen? But where is HaKadosh Baruch Hu? I know you're here. I know you're here in the darkness. I know you're here concealed in the darkness. Even it feels like it's completely concealed. The darkness is completely enveloping me. I don't see light anywhere. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there somewhere. And I'm going to ask, where are you, Hashem? I'm going to look for you, Hashem. I'm going to seek you out, Hashem. I'm going to look for you in the darkness. That's how we could bring light into the darkness. That's how we could overcome the darkness, by trying to find HaKadosh Baruch Hu within the darkness. It says, brings down the Haggadah or Zerua. It says like this. Vihi. If you rearrange the letters Vihi, the Vav, Hey, Yud, Aleph, you unscramble it, you come out with Va'aye. It was Va'aye she'amda la'avoseinu. It was the Yidden, even in the 49th level of Tumah, getting completely crushed by the hard work, by the avodas park, by the back-breaking work that Pari and the Mitzrayim put them through. But the fact that they asked, Aye, where are you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu? We know you're here, Mitzrayim. We know you're here with us, despite the fact that we don't see you, and it seems so dark right now. Despite the fact that we're Ovdei Avodah Zarah, but still we didn't give up on you, Hashem. We know you're here with us. V'ayeh she'amda la'avoseinu v'lanu, and for us today as well. When we feel that darkness pressing in, when we don't see where to turn, we have to ask, Ayim Ekayim Kavayde, where are you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there with us in the darkness. He's there with us at our lowest points. Wherever we are, whatever situation we're there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there as well. Rav Yitzchak Morgenstern says, what's HaKadosh Baruch Hu dir b'tachtonim? Means that at our lowest points, at our lowest places, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be with us over there as well. And with that, we have to try to live a little higher this Seder and think about this message. We have to realize that it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to have this emunah HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has the Yad Zereh, has the outstretched hand. We have to put out our hands as well and say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, pick me up, and realize that we could be skipped from wherever we are right now. We could be jumped over to where it is that we want to go. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us a lot of siyata d'shmaya. Then we go through the Seder and it's going to be beautiful, Be'ez Hashem. And we're giving the message over to our children, but we're giving this message over to ourselves as well. Chag kosher v'sameach.